Hey everyone, I'm John Hartley. I'm here with today's mail. I only have one package today, but there's a little bit of a story behind it, so that's okay. Still try not to make too long a video. A few months back, I was watching a video by Mike GPO, and Mike had gotten in some coins from Big Laurie, who lives in Scotland, and one of them he had was a George III bullhead shilling, and so I looked up the coin, and I really liked the design. The reason they call it a bullhead shilling is because his head is kind of thick and oddly shaped. So I started looking for one, seeing what prices were out there, and I found one that was at an exceptionally good price. And so I looked at it and I bought it. Well, I should have been a little bit more careful, but I was looking at the detail of the coin, and the coin's in really great shape. And that's probably what caught my eye. But on the flip it was in, just like this one, but the flip was for a larger coin, so that threw me off a little bit, I'm sure. But it said shilling instead of sixpence. And for those of you that don't know, sixpence is half of a shilling. So the coin should be double this size. So when I got the coin in, I opened it up on one of my videos, probably a couple of months back. And I think it's in the title that it says something like a shilling that wasn't what it's supposed to be, or something like that. So every now and then since then, when I was looking at coins, I would go and see if I could find the actual shilling. Well, the other day I was on eBay, and I did just that, and it was priced a little bit high, but it said make an offer. So I took about $30 off of it, and they accepted. So let's see if this one is actually a shilling. The coin itself does not have the denomination on it, by the way. So that's another thing that probably threw my judgment off a little bit. It's just when you hold it in your hand, one's the size of a dime or a little bit larger, the other's the size of a quarter or slightly smaller. So I looked carefully at the description on this one, and it even told me what the weight in the millimeters were. So, and I can tell already that it is the size of a shilling. Yep, there it is. Never seen a blue flip. I'm sorry, I want it out of here. Well, let's give y'all a look. This George III, the exact portrait. This is 1816, this is 1817. 1817, they made the most of the shillings. Coin has some nice color to it, which leads me to believe that it's that much more I can't get it open. There we go. All right. Very nice detail. Very nice. .66. That is proper. Just under 24. And that is correct. I have no doubt whatsoever that this is a 1817 shilling. But when you spend that much money, and I got a good deal on this, but I'm not going to tell you exactly how much I spent. But go on eBay and look up the George III shilling, and you'll see what I'm talking about. They're in this shape, they're rather pricey. That magnet is acting absolutely correct. I guess you can say that I'm just because I had a somewhat bad experience with the sixpence, that I'm being a little overly cautious about this shilling. But you know, I took a little bit, I did something I don't like to do. The person that was selling the shilling, that was selling the sixpence, didn't have as much feedback. It was all positive, but didn't have much. And probably a lot of those were purchases. Because when I started dealing with him, telling him, you know, you advertised a shilling and you sent me a sixpence, he said, well, you got the coin that was in the picture. And he was a little bit, he took too much of a defensive stance to my questioning. And I didn't feel too bad on the purchase, because I really got it for a steal if it had been a shilling, because I spent half to the dime. I spent half on this than I did on the shilling, and it's half the size. So, and I got the deal for what other sixpences were going for. So after telling him what he did wrong, and then telling him, you know, I'm going to keep the coin, but your attitude could have been better, he stopped. He had offered me a refund, and I said, no, I'm going to keep the coin, but, you know, you should be a little bit more customer savvy. But all's well that ends well. I've got both coins now. The biggest thing that I'm thinking about now, and this is where my OCD kicks in, you would think you'd like these two coins because they're exactly the same except for the size and weight. They say the same thing on both sides, same artwork on both sides. You'd like to put them in the album next to each other. Well, that's not the way my albums go, especially my foreign coins album. They're in there, first of all, by country, alphabetically, and then they are denomination rated. So in Great Britain or the UK, they start off with farthings and go all the way up, and you know all the farthings, all the pennies, all the way up, and within if I have more than one farthing, which I do, they're chronologically in place. So this will be amongst all the sixpence, and a little bit down from that, probably, no, I got the book, it's just over here out of your sight. It's, it'll be on the same page. So, I'm pleased with my purchase. I hope y'all like it. But after all that, everything's good, because not only did I end up with a really nice shilling, I ended up with a sixpence as well, and I got a good deal on both coins compared to what most people are selling them for. So it is good. It is good. Rainy day out today, but we got to get out anyway and vote. Primary is in my state, and not a lot of big elections going on, but my old boss, the sheriff in the county that I used to live in, before I retired, I moved back home after I retired, so I'm still in the same state, but I don't get to vote down there anymore, obviously. But he's one of his captains, a guy that I grew up on the force with, retired and is now running against him for sheriff. So they got a big to-do. And on Facebook, a large amount of my friends who are also retired, if they're working there, they're staying out of it, at least publicly, except for one guy he's got his time in. He's a retired Marine, and he's got plenty of enough time with the sheriff's office in his second career that if this ex-captain gets elected, he's probably just going to retire that next morning or tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow, because you don't change office till January, but so if your state has a primary today, get out there and vote. It's your responsibility. Don't need people to say, hey, let the world run its orders without me. Need you to get out there and vote. Make your difference known. I've got one more set of coins in the mail, but they're coming from overseas. I keep telling you that I don't like doing that, but every once in a while I do, because this is a foreign coin from a country that I couldn't find anywhere else. And when they get here, you'll know why. They're not old coins, they're brand new coins, but they were hard to find, and I'll explain that when they get here, probably more than a week away. But it'll be an interesting story, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, I don't have anything else on order, and I probably won't order anything else till the 21st, because as I told you in the last video, my white microwave oven bit the big one. The new one got delivered today. Put it in its little hutch in just a few minutes. That's funny. Had a word block. I didn't have anything to say for a second there, and nobody's ever accused me of that. Anyway, go out and vote. That's all I've got to do today is vote. And until something else gets here, I'm 1042.